You spoke to Cheatle. How'd that go?
She came to see me, actually. And, I mean, it went very nicely. She was very nice, I thought. But, you know, somebody should have made sure there was nobody on that roof. That roof was a dead aim right onto the stage. And they said they didn't have the manpower for it. Somebody gave her false information when she talked about the slope of the roof. How does a situation happen where a roof that's plainly in sight from the location where I was speaking, why would somebody not have seen that?
No one told you not to take the stage?
No, nobody mentioned it. Nobody said there was a problem.
Former President Trump sat down with Jesse Waters to discuss the failed security on the attempted assassination on his life. And just yesterday, our next guest toured that sloped rooftop that the gunman used that was left unguarded. Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez serves on the House Homeland Security Committee and joins me now. Congressman, good morning to you. So you traveled to Butler. You stood on that rooftop that the Secret Service director said was too slanted to safely put a Secret Service agent on top of. What did you learn?
There's no slant to that roof. It's maybe a 10-degree slope. The roof in my house is way, way steeper, and I get on that all the time. I'm 70 years old. Had no problem getting on the roof, no problem standing on the roof, no problems, you know, running around the roof. So that was a total made-up lie by the Secret Service director, and that's why she has to go. I mean, to anybody who could see that roof and say, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, anybody can go on that roof. That's just an excuse for their incompetence, and it was total incompetence. That's the whole show. There was totally incompetent on the part of the Secret Service, and I know that President Trump, you know, loves his detail and all that, but whoever is leading his detail, whoever made the planning for that detail, they need to go too, because there's so many gaps that anybody with any kind of security background could pick out right away. Look, I was a firefighter, but I was also on the SWAT team for the city of Miami. I was the fire chief for the city of Miami. As mayor of Miami-Dade County, I was the sheriff, and I ran a lot of incidents, and there were so many things violated here. I just can't even. We don't have enough time for me to tell you what they did. They didn't do.
Well,
to protect the
Congressman, one
president.
of the main questions that still remains is whose job was it to secure that rooftop, and why was there no police officer or Secret Service agent ever on top of it? When you traveled to Butler, did you get any answers or insight into that?
No, I think what I'm getting, the insight that I'm getting is that the Secret Service really didn't do their job. Look, when the Secret Service is never going to have the sufficient number of people to do the full protection. That's why you have the meetings, and then you assign either the state agencies, local agency, county agencies, what they have to do, what is it that they're protecting, and how they have to go and do that. I don't think that happened at all. I don't think there was any real coordination between the Secret Service and the local agencies. You can't blame the local agencies. They're not in the dignitary protection business. That's not what they do every day. And so it's up to the Secret Services. Yes, I want you to put a man on the roof or an agent on the roof, somebody there to protect this vulnerability. And that, believe me, that was plain to see. That roof, that building was about 120 yards away from the stage. Easy shot for somebody with you know, an AR and some kind of a scope. An easy shot. I know, because like I said, I was on SWAT, so I know what an easy shot's all about. Yeah. And that was an easy shot by the grace of God.
By the grace
President
of
Trump
God, by a quarter inch.
Today.
Yeah, and there was also a water tower nearby that we're now learning probably should have had somebody on top of the water tower as well. And also the communications were siloed, which means that the Secret Service and local police were on different radio channels, so they couldn't communicate with each other.
Well, look. That's normal, because you can't have everybody on one channel. But what you have to do is everybody, all the agencies that are protecting the president need to be in one place, so that if you get something from, say, the state police and say, hey, I've got a person with a gun, et cetera, that's communicated right away to the Secret Service, who then communicates with his personnel, and so, or her personnel. And so that was violated too, because apparently the Secret Service was in one place and local agencies were in another place. That, again, is violating Incident Command 101.
Apparently the Secret Service did know about this person of interest, this suspicious person for
Yeah.
about an hour before the shooting took place. So one of the questions is what happened within that hour that he was identified as a suspicious person until when he took that shot, and should the president have been allowed to get on that stage? So you're a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. You guys are going to be having a hearing on this, but apparently Kimberly Cheatle is not going to be testifying. Why not?
Well, probably because, we're going to be asking the same kind of questions that you're just asking. Why wasn't, well, how was the president allowed to go on stage knowing you have a very suspicious character and you haven't placed him yet and you haven't found him yet? And so you've got to put the safety of your principal number one. And if you have a question as to his security, you cannot put him in danger. And so they did put him in danger because they did have a suspicious character. They didn't know where that person was, but they still brought the president out and allowed him to go out on that stage. Another violation of how do you protect a principal, Secret Service 101. That's a violation right there. I mean, there's so many mistakes. There were so many things that they did wrong. Every single step was just like, boom, they did this wrong, they did that wrong. Everything was wrong. It was just this complete disaster there. And like I said, you don't have to be an expert to know, hey, maybe we should have somebody up on that roof in that area, or at least somebody that can see very clearly anybody getting on those roofs. And by the way, that water tower is a perfect place. I mean, it towers over everything. You can see you can see everything. You don't have any issues with trees, which, by the way, was one of the also issues. One of the sniper teams, they couldn't see parts of that roof because it was covered by trees. And the other sniper team was looking the other way.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, you're hearing later today, Mayorkas isn't going to show up. Kimberly Cheatle will not as well, but still important because you're going to be talking to local officials, so hopefully getting some answers there. It was heartening to see how bipartisan yesterday's hearing was, and I'm sure that will bleed into today's with the Homeland Security Committee as well. Important issue. Congressman Gimenez, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.